Hey, so just as a quick break, I just found that my part four of my traveling videos, I actually thought that I had lost that footage, but it's kind of crazy. It was totally like basically, well, it exists and I'm uploading it now, so now you guys can see that. Um, and, or listen to that. And so really the big difference is what was I was saying? Oh, that well, yeah, I actually don't even know if I really agree with what I was about to say. Oh, no. Okay, so you're still surrendering in both cases, but of being following logic or following religion, but they're very, very different in that truth in the logical sense is you sort of have this acceptance that it always isn't truth because you're always testing it and you're always making different choices to see how things fit together. I mean, this is, but you're following logic, and then I guess there is a sort of other form of atheism where you're also questioning that too, but that is still sort of a part of logic. I mean, well, that's actually a good counterpoint. If there's a thought system that's neither religious nor logical, you know? I mean, yeah, it's my belief that you're always following a god in any thought system, but the the point is that this is the big gap. The there's so many like very related things here, but now I remember what I was about to say at the end of the last video. Um, that when you are following religion, you're trusting very, very simply in that Torah or Quran, uh, that it is the word of God. It's very, very simple. It's so simple. It's just this is the word of God. And you follow it because it is the word of God. Um, it is so contrary to this secular idea of having things be rational. And when you give yourself to the Lord, you no longer have the burden and the stress of basically recreating the wheel every single day. I mean, if you have it all given to you in the book. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this really terrifying thing. Like, you just, like they say, like, Jesus take the wheel. Like, you're just you quite, I don't know if literally is the right word, but you really are. You don't question it. You know what I mean? I mean, you can question it, but you don't question. You can question things within it. Questioning is an enormous part of religion, but you don't you you accept on some level. I mean, you accept fully, but on the level of accepting the Lord. you know once you do that entirely, you can question interpretations, etc., in your attempts to interpret the book. And but just going in like that, I mean, that's just, it's such a scary thing. And yeah, but it allows for something very deeply beautiful, because, I mean, I've been learning about, or I've just been hearing a couple people talk about postmodernism, which is something that I thought I understood, but when I've been hearing it described now, it's almost like a post-logic thing. Like it's just, it seems, I mean, there's probably something more extreme, but that to sort of reject everything and to feel the need to, like, personally create and understand everything, which is how I've led my life, not even knowing, the history of where that comes from. But that's been my thing. And it's incredibly burdensome. I mean, it is just so, I mean, it sucks in a lot of ways. And what one person can do in one life is limited, um, to what many societies can do over thousands of years. So, whether or not it makes sense to me, like, I had a teacher say once that, like, if a lot of people pay attention to something, there's something to that thing, And I agree and disagree with that, but I think in this case, like, coming from my personal experience of trying to reshape all the wheels, I cringe so hard when I think about anybody else doing that, So it's like, why should I, feel as though I'm different in that way? Like, I mean, I feel like I do have some personal insights that are unique, just in the way that I am able to access, um, something, but what that something is, I don't think it gives me the answers to these questions necessarily, I mean, I can basically trip, and I'm pretty sure what I'm able to do is, I don't know, I've never taken, like, hallucinogenic drugs, but I should, because then I can really know if I do have something special. Like, if it's just that I can do this sober, or if it's that this is something unique. I don't know. But it's stories, I mean, it's like, being able to be clever and be lucid doesn't mean anything about having, like, wisdom about the universe, you know? I mean, there's some people that are brilliant, but they're not wise. And you can be wise and pretty dumb too. So I don't know. Um, what was I gonna say? I thought I had a lot more to say on this religion shit. I got my Hindu bracelet on. You know, I realized after I posted the first video that I was really, well, no, I mean, I'm proud of it. I'm gonna try to be more soft when I talk about these things, because I feel like something that I've been noticing is how actually the rhythm of speaking is sometimes way more important than the words. I have this one friend who is a feminist and is unbelievably gifted in her ability to empathize with others. I mean it, and speak with that empathy in conversations around feminism. I've never seen someone else like that before. I mean, yeah. Like, most of the time, I feel like feminism doesn't even exist. I feel like people are insecure and they're mad, and feminism is just like a sound, like, that a mouth can make, but it's not, it doesn't exist, you know? Like, because the net, I mean, not even the net, like, the entirety of what takes place is someone is mean to someone else, and then the other person is probably mean back. You know, that's all that happens, and both people don't feel very good. That's it, you know? Who gives a fuck if... I mean, it's just totally irrelevant, the, you know, structures of society is completely unaffected by those interactions, you know? I mean, some people are so stupid, like... I mean, and it's true, it's equally true for anti-feminists, like... I love using the Jordan Peterson example of where he's saying, like, he doesn't... not just being against the law, which is, like, obviously, like, I support being against that bill, but that he says he doesn't want to call people by their pronoun because of it being like some dismantling of Western civilization, and you know, I can empathize with building mindsets in this way. I'm sure there's instances of me doing that, but because I don't hold that point of view that he does, I can objectively see how fucking ridiculous that is. Like, for him to call a trans woman her, the entirety of what happens there is this person is going to feel like a little bit more validated, a little bit more comfortable, or maybe they're not even trans, but they're going to feel a little bit like better in figuring out who they are, you know? That's literally all that's going to happen. Like, not, there's no, like, I mean, it's just, the just calling a person a pronoun doesn't change a damn thing, you know? And that's the same exact thing as far as like everything that um, men get accused of, as far as being sexist and being um, the weight that's carried with the way that men act, and that coupled with the way um, oh man, this is such a big thing. I wasn't going to get into all this. I think I talked about so I made another video that got deleted too, but maybe that one I'll find as well. Like it'll show up like this, so maybe I'll be repeating myself, but I mean, like, for the most part, I think that men and women can empathize with each other like men and men can, or women and women can. Like, I don't know, I had a lot of friends who are gay. I mean, I mean, women who are gay when I was younger, and it was like, I mean, it's always going to feel different being around a woman than being around a man, but my friendships weren't that different with them than they were with other men, um, because we look different. Like men and women look different, but internally, we are, and sexually, we're very different. There's some ways in which we're really different, but there's also ways in which we're the same. And that's like, it's both, It's not that we're entirely the same, obviously, and it's also not that we're entirely different. And as far as being able to empathize with one another, we can do that. I think that you can empathize with, like, if you can empathize with a fucking dog, you can empathize with another person, no matter who they are. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is that's what matters. And that is what gets totally dismissed by not this one friend of mine, but by a lot of people that will say they're feminist and then be really mean. And then justify it by saying, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. As a man, the gut reaction is to totally feed into it. Because the wow. Yeah, the ideology that like feminists put forth is one of there being an extreme male domination. I mean, they'll say it's patriarchy, but what they're saying is men dominate women. Therefore, like, men are more powerful than women. And if a woman says something hurtful to a man, it's not bad because it's like a slave insulting their master. They're basically saying like, I am so insecure, and I like revere men as like something like higher than me. Like when I look at a man, I don't see myself. I don't treat a man how I would treat myself. Or maybe I do because I hate myself, but I don't treat a man like they don't deserve respect because of this systemic stuff. Like just like the Jordan Peterson thing. It's like I can't just be loving and kind because I would be contributing to the systemic oppression of women. And that's an ideology I can empathize with as well. But again, because it's not one that I hold, I can objectively see how fucking batshit that is, Because, again, calling out a man, calling a man sexist, putting a guy on blast, whatever. All that's happening is you're being an asshole. And they're like, you're not changing anything about the structures of society. Like, and I think that, like, I mean, in Jordan's case, he at least believes that he is doing something. That's the difference, I guess, is that in Jordan's case, he believes that by refusing to call people, and I don't know what he actually does, but in his argument, that by like refusing to use different pronouns, he believes that he is upholding Western society. I think that majority of feminists believe that their actions don't have consequence, and they want them to not have consequence. Like, because if they could so easily make changes and like, quote, smash patriarchy, it would go against what they're saying, which is about how powerful and oppressive it is. So it's very, it's like, yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, no, it's pretty boring. It's very simple and boring. I don't know why I kind of can get lost in the idea that there's actually anything happening here. Because, yeah, it's just someone is just in a bad mood and it's just mean. Because it doesn't, like, these concepts are so abstract. Like, everybody, like, if you have a problem, you can either fix it or, or you can't. And it's going to come down to your own actions. I mean, if it's talking to another person, then yeah, but all of, I mean, at what point do you say, does this work or not, I can't even say that. What is the thing to say here? Come on! Come on, guys. I think we're all on the same page, right? What is the right thing to say? It's just to be loving and soft, which is what I totally lost. It's just to love, 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 love. But I was talking about religion. What the fuck? I'm gonna get cut off again, too. How did I get onto this feminism shit? Surrendering to a god. I have no idea how I got here. I guess you guys know because you see the video. Religion is a deeply powerful tool for. It's a place to send your questions to, and it's a place to really pursue, a path of, walking with divinity, and not just, oh, it was from this postmodern shit. Yeah, not having to do everything yourself, which is so fucking burdensome, and I think is really, it's not a fruitful avenue so far. I mean, it's like it's on par with transhumanism in how ideal, hypothetically it could be, but it's just so practically like out of range that there would ever be something that we could create that is so beneficial, to everyone. And religion is a complete, like, I don't know. I mean it's basically, it's sort of like what transhumanism is, actually. I mean, religion's just something that people created to help, you know? And it works. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just trying to be more transparent in how I feel about it with myself. Um, and also say that oh man, it's so tough for me to give up, like, trying to figure shit out on my own. That's a hard one to do, you know. I'm probably gonna die trying to figure shit out on my own. But it definitely sucks, It's definitely like a stupid, addictive kind of thing to like feel somehow like in need, like it's a perfectionist thing, to feel like the need to get somewhere, like intellectually, philosophically, like it's such a like societal, like, I don't know. It's not something I'd give a fuck about if I just lived in the woods, I don't think I would care. Because what does it even mean? Like, what does having knowledge even do other than provide some way to, like, channel your anxiety or channel your sort of, like, attention away from some issue in your life that you want to, like, try to grasp, politics and economics and, like, ontology or whatever. Like, this is, no one gives a fuck. no one really gives a fuck. Like, I don't know. Maybe just I don't give a fuck. Even though it's like all I do. Anyways, yeah. Um, uh, Still don't remember how I segued into talking about, like, believing in connotations and oh yeah, to all the women who might be watching this, I'm not better than you. So I imagine most of my female viewers are don't need to hear this, but to any that do, like, don't don't be mean to me. And also, like, I'm not better than you. So, like, I don't know. We don't we don't have power over you. Um, and yeah. I wish there was something better I could say. I'll have to try to understand it better. Because I was a full-fledged, feminist at one point, so it's like pretty. There wasn't a damn thing a person could tell me that would change my mind. So it's like trying to think now if there's anything they could have said. For me, my experience was just meeting a lot of anti-feminist women, anti-feminist trans women, you know, anti like anti-Black Lives Matter black people, and that was enough for me to be like, hey, like, as a guy being like, hey, like, the whole reason I'm following feminism is that I'm listening to women's experiences. Like, feminists are not representative of women, um, and aren't even representative of other feminists. So it's, you know, might as well make my own decision, because I kind of am choosing which women to listen to anyways. So everyone, all of them want you to listen to them. I mean, everyone wants you to listen to them. So um, if they're not providing me with anything that I actually believe, then it kind of falls apart. Uh, as an actual woman, though, I imagine it would be a lot harder to stop being feminist, like, because you probably are it for slightly different reasons. Like, I don't really know. Maybe it's exactly the same. But no, because you wouldn't be it. Well, yeah, no, it is the same. Because I'm pretty sure most of you are it out of guilt, too. It's sort of like morality and, like, learning, it's like the atheism thing. Like, you learn something and then it becomes, like, special just because of the order of events. I'm pretty sure if you were raised feminist, you would definitely become anti-feminist pretty fast. It's just about how you're raised, and then seeing the next thing as a liberation from it. It's really weird. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I don't mean to say that word so many times. I hope that we can be in this place together. because we are together, and